Good evening, I'm Darcy,
And I'm Hannah. Welcome to Real Bites.
the podcast where we, as film students, put our limited coherent thoughts into words to discuss classic films.
In this episode, we'll be discussing the 1960s TV show, Get Smart, created by Mel Brooks and Buck Henry.
Stay tuned for our thoughts on spy films, catchphrases, and shoe phones.
Let's begin.
Get into Get Smart.
Nice one. The two episodes we'll be recapping today are The Impossible Mission and Diamonds Are a Spy's Best Friend.
The titles are so cute. So if you don't know, Get Smart is a TV series. It started in the 1960s, and it's kind of a response to these James Bond spy films. It's a parody of them, and you've got Agent 86, who is completely clueless. He cannot do anything right, and his partner, Agent 99, who is a way more competent agent than he is, and their boss is the chief of Control. And Control is this government organization, top secret, of the United States. And their rivals are Chaos, which is the Eastern European organization. They actually call themselves the International Organization of Evil, I believe, which is, it's fun to have, villains which are proud of being
Imagine
villains.
saying you work for this organization.
Yeah.
Literally the most evil organization, so don't mess with us.
Yeah. And Control and Chaos, they don't stand for anything. They're written in all caps like acronyms, but they don't stand for anything. So The Impossible Mission, it's set in a television studio, and there's a bit of homage to Charlie Chaplin. They run around, and this is part of the fourth season, the best season, in my opinion. And this is the episode where Max, Agent 86, proposes to 99, and she accepts. And then the other episode is Diamonds Are a Spy's Best Friend, which centers around Max trying to buy a engagement ring, and the shopkeeper sells him one which he's trying to hide from Chaos, the famous diamond. And then they run around getting the diamonds, and they find out they're smuggling the diamonds out through bowling balls. Very
Imagine
much.
you go bowling and it's like a diamond just falls out of a bowling ball.
Yeah. I'm wondering how they didn't fall out, but I guess they were like lodged in there.
Or you crack a bowling ball and be like, gold, we mined for gold.
Overall, I find this TV series has a great balance of verbal and physical humor, especially, for example, like in the Impossible Mission where he comes in and he locks all his, like, he has like 6 or 7 locks on the door, and then the door slowly swings open. And, obviously the puns and everything, but I find like the physical humor helps a lot.
He's clumsy most of the time, and that just adds to his character.
Yeah, the characters are really interesting. And especially like he tries to do everything himself and be a good agent, but he's not better than 99. And usually like she says an idea and then he'll have to like take it for himself and make it his own.
I
Yeah.
think that's what makes it funny. Like character like 99 is so much more what's it called? Better for the jobs or the missions, but she's the sidekick. I just don't even understand how they agree to get married.
Well, she kind of tricks him into it, right?
Oh.
She's like, "Oh no, we can't get out of here. We're gonna die." And then he's like, "Well, if we do get out, I'd like to marry you." And she's like, "You know what? I do have an idea."
Oh, so she wants.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, so she doesn't actually love him.
She does love him. What do you mean? She wants to get married to him. Yeah.
To get out.
Yeah, but
once they get out, what happens?
Well, they get married.
Dun,
yeah.
Dun, dun.
Because she like tricks him into, and that's why he's like, "Well, why didn't you think of this plan before I asked you to marry me?" And she's like, "I didn't have anything to live for then." And I think it's like great that they progress from, they don't like get married in the next episode right away. They go from they argue and then they shop for a wedding ring. They argue more. She goes like shopping for a dress. It's a whole thing.
True
Evolution. And what, like, something completely that I find insane is you never find out her real name. The whole
just
series,
stays 99.
not even after she marries him. It's always 99.
99.
Yeah, exactly. And there's this one episode, is it 99 loses control, where she leaves control for a while and she's like gonna get married to this other guy, and then she's like, she goes by Susan, but then when Max is like, "Oh, well, I finally know your name," she's like, "Nah, that's a fake name." We never do find out. The show is also pretty heavy in catchphrases. right? It's like, missed it by that much.
Would you believe?
Yeah, it's like, oh, here's the quote. At this moment, 7 Coast Guard cutters are converging on us. Would you believe it? 7. And then the villain's like, I find that hard to believe. And then Max is like, would you believe 6? And the villain's like, I don't think so. And then Max is like, how about 2 cops in a rowboat? So, like, there's a lot of this. It's like, and then at the end, it goes from like police to an angry Boy Scout with rabies or something. That's pretty funny. The show is like really, yeah, heavy with catchphrases, and a lot of plot exposition happens through dialogue, which is interesting for a mystery story, right? Because he's like, 99's like, the way he bowled that trash can at you.
You're right. He didn't throw it. He bowled.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty funny.
that's how they figure out that the villains are good at bowling, because 99's board choice. Mystery. That's a slick way to introduce exposition if you ever need to in a short film, right?
Yeah,
Just
and it's
what's
humorous
the
too, so
vocabulary? Yeah.
it
Not sure
goes
how
quite
well it would
nicely.
work if you used it like the whole short film through. It's like he bowled it at you, and then it's like he was holding a paintbrush when he wrote, and there's a lot of stuff you can do. Another interesting comedic choice they had was when Max and Chief were in the airplane having their top secret discussion. The audience was also left out of that discussion because you couldn't hear what Max and Chief were saying over the engines. So, about style and influences, it parodies the James Bond films, which, Dr. No was released in 1962, and then you get some Bond villains parodying and Get Smart, like Dr. Claw.
Claw.
And the Cold War espionage is an influence on it, as well as like spy culture with the gadgets and the glamour. For a comedic show, they still managed to touch on that.
Yeah. So speaking of gadgets, there's a lot of emphasis on like the technology or like spy gadgets they use, such as like Max's phone, for example, his shoe phone
Yeah, that's iconic.
comes in handy.
Yeah, no, they have like the self-destructing tapes. Is it part of the Impossible Mission? No, the other one. The Diamonds Are Spy Best Friend,
Diamonds.
yeah. Considering like the first mobile phone was invented, like made in 1973. There's
Whoa.
Yeah, and this before that, how crazy would it have been to have a phone in like the wheel of your car and in a fire hydrant and in your shoe? So like the huge running gag.
They should literally have shoe phones today.
Yeah, they
I've
should.
never
I
seen a
wonder
shoe phone.
if secret agents do. They wouldn't tell us, but I hope
Oh
they
yeah.
do. It's like your shoe is ringing. That's another catchphrase that's usually told.
Your shoe is ringing.
And it's funny because for a comedic show, for James Bond and stuff, the gadgets are always slick and they work perfectly. And the way it's interesting, they flip that in the comedy to get more comedy out of it. They made gadget malfunctions like the cone of silence, right, where it like lowers down on them when they're trying to have a secret meeting, but it makes it even worse, and they end up shouting the secret information at each other. And then like the hidden devices in his apartment. Luxurious apartment, by the way, yeah.
He does have it. The apartment's huge.
It's so nice.
From what I remember, yeah.
He has like stairs.
In the like 2-floor apartment or something.
Invisible walls. Also the concept of landline eavesdropping is touched on. I guess that was another Cold War fear and espionage trope. And they flipped it so he has his garter phone tapped instead of his landline, so he has like 2 garters. Again, that's a visual gag. Like, how would you tap a garter phone? The filmmakers probably had to decide, oh, we'll just put another one on it. That's an interesting way to solve it. He figures out they tapped it by saying the other garter.
The intro is pretty long. There's a long title sequence.
And they take the time of the title sequence to show this kind of glamour with his really beautiful car. The glamour continues on in, the idea of going undercover, and the more like he has different cars throughout the series. They made an interesting choice to fade out the scenes in puzzle block style.
I think that's signature to Get Smart. Like those puzzle pieces.
Yeah,
I haven't
most
seen
of
it
them
in
just
any
do,
other
yeah,
TV show. When you see it, you'll know that's Get Smart. Signature to it.
pulling out puzzle blocks and putting them back in. Other shows just have like the circle going in and leaving like everything black except the circle, but these ones they have puzzle pieces. On
Okay.
to the trivia. This is
Woohoo!
the funnest part. Barbara Feldon said The Impossible Mission is her favorite episode. I always like looking at, when the artist or author says it's their favorite work. I think it's interesting to know that.
And we touched upon this earlier, but yeah, we never ever find out 99's real name
The second biggest character, you don't know their name. You just know
or
they're
it's
like
just a number.
just a number. Yeah, 99.
Oh, it kind of reminds me of Stranger Things. The main character 11, they
Oh, is
call her
that?
L, like
Oh,
for 11, but her name is just 11.
just a number. That's how
Yeah.
like names are gonna be in the future. Like parents are gonna name their kids 5 and
What was the name of Elon Musk's kids? They're this like equation. I don't know. Let me find out.
Get Smart did it first, just so you know.
Yeah, Elon Musk's kids. One of them, his name is X. Just the letter X. X Ash A12. Wow. Get Smart did it first, as you said.
Also, in when Max is looking through photos, is it The Impossible Mission? Yeah, the first one he sees is the humorous picture of a little boy. That's Alfred E. Newman, who's the mascot for Mad Magazine.
The 8x10 black and white picture that Max rips to pieces is a shot of the singer Tiny Tim, who had a hit record with Tiptoe Through the Tulips that year.
The Tiny Tim. I mean, he looks kind of creepy.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny
Tiny
Tim.
Tim tiptoes through the tulips.
Don Adams, who plays Maxwell Smart, directed 13 episodes of the show and wrote 2. So he was involved in it, and he also worked as a director.
What a
It's,
talented
it's
guy.
interesting. Yeah, man of many talents. And the nude bomb is they had a film made after that, the nude bomb, which was a feature-length film with Max. The 99 isn't in it though, which is disappointing. But there is the film The Nude Bomb, and the reference is too glaring to ignore that the nude bomb is probably the namesake of The Naked Gun, which is the 1980s film with Leslie Nielsen. And actually, Mel Brooks, who worked on Get Smart, contributed gags to The Naked Gun. So it's interesting. Another reference to modern films is in one episode, I forget which, in Get Smart, the villain's name is Hans Gruber, which I don't know where that name is like from because it's also the villain's name in Die Hard. Like, was it some famous? But I couldn't find anything when I googled it, so maybe it's just like John Smith, but the German version of John Smith. But like 50 years apart, they'd have the same. Well, maybe not 50, maybe like.
Maybe Die Hard paid homage to Get Smart.
That's true, but they're so like vastly different. Not vastly different genres, but yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, it's good you caught that. Actually, that never occurred to me.
Yeah. So I was looking at it, I was like, where have I heard Hans Gruber before? That's the Die Hard villain. Because it's so popular now with Die Hard. I wonder what the origin is that they would both maybe like they either both originate from the same place, like they're both either referencing the same thing, or Die Hard is referencing Hans Gruber from Get Smart, or they're completely unrelated, which is too weird to be true. Like I'm sure they're related somehow.
So when they mention the League of Bald-Headed Men, it's a reference to Sherlock Holmes' League of Red-Headed Men.
Yeah, because Sherlock Holmes is also a mystery kind of guy. And Get Smart was very popular. Like a lot of people haven't heard of it, but it ran for 138 episodes and it lasted for 5 seasons. If you had to rank the seasons, I would put them number 1 season 4, and then season 5, and then 3, and then 1, and then 2. That's my ranking. What's your personal opinion, Hannah?
I like Get Smart a lot. Because often I would watch it with my family, like in the evenings sometimes. We'd all get a good laugh out of it. So I do love the show.
It hasn't gotten old. Like if you watch what's it called? West Wing, it was made in the it was made in like 2000 in the 2000s, but it looks like it was made in the 80s. I swear that show looks so old, like just the way they talk and the way they dress and the way they hold themselves. in West Wing is just completely ridiculous, and I don't know what's up with that. It has aged badly. It has aged like bad cheese. Get Smart has aged really well, and it holds up. It does put me to sleep though. I feel sleepy after watching it because you get like the same patterns of speech. Max's signature pattern of speech, and then 99, and then Chief, and it just kind of loops again and again. It's a nice way to fall asleep though. Not complaining.
I think my family even started having inside jokes. It's like, hello,
Yeah.
this is chaos. Things like that, yeah.
I love their little logo with the vulture on it.
Yeah, as you said, I think it's timeless. It's always funny, to be honest. It doesn't get old.
Yeah, I'm surprised the show isn't as well known as it probably should be because it's good.
Well, for those of you listening, now you know about it. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Well, I guess this ends the episode.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Real Bites, the podcast where we discuss classic films in bite-sized episodes.
This podcast is free to listen to, and as of now, it's available on YouTube, SoundCloud, TikTok, and LinkedIn. We'll be expanding to other platforms soon, so stay tuned. And you can find all the links to these social media platforms at realbites.card.co, which is spelled REELBITES.CARRD.CO. Thanks for listening.
And we hope to see you again next week.
I gotta go, my shoe phone's ringing.